Hello everyone, let's do the Cambridge IGCSE Biology Paper 2, February March 2024. Question number 1 asks you which characteristic of living organism is represented by gas exchange in the alveoli. So in the lungs we have the alveoli where carbon dioxide and oxygen is exchanged. So carbon dioxide we know is a waste product, so it's a type of excretion. So our answer is A. It's not the growth or nutrition or reproduction. So answer is excretion. Question number 2, they show you diagram and they ask you that which statement about modern people and the ancestors is correct. So if you see this diagram, the word homo, it remains the same. It means the first name is genus and the second is species. So you can see the species is changed but genus is same. So they have same genus but not the species. The answer is C. Question 3, what is the characteristic of both insects and arachnids? So insect and arachnid, we know that they have the outer skeleton that can help them survive in hot conditions to prevent loss of water. So our answer is B. They have exoskeleton. Question number 4, an animal can swim, they have backbone and they produce milk. So these three features are present only by the mammals. So they ask you which group the animal belong to because they produce milk, so they are mammals. Question number 5, in which cell structure does aerobic respiration occur? So aerobic respiration in the cell, the only organelle that can do or aerobic respiration is mitochondria because it can do aerobic respiration and produce energy, ATP, that we use in our daily activities. What is the formula to which formula shows the correct way to calculate the actual size of an object? So magnification is our I over A, so actual is equal to I over M, so image over magnification, so answer is B. What is the reason why oxygen diffuses into the blood from alveoli in the lungs? So we know that in the lungs, in the alveoli, if this is the alveoli, you can see here. So oxygen concentration is very high, and if we draw blood capillary here, the oxygen concentration is very low. So if we see the option B, the oxygen concentration in alveolus is greater than the oxygen concentration in the blood. So here diffusion happen and oxygen from high concentration to move into the capillary where the concentration is low. So answer is B. Next, they show you the two plant cells, cell X and cell Y, and which statement describe what happened to the water in the alveoli. So you can see here is the low water potential and we have here high water potential. Because we have here high water potential, so water will move from X to Y. So B is the right answer. Question number 9, which row describe active transport? So active transport, we know it require energy and it move from low to high. So movement substance from low concentration to high concentration, so yes. Require energy, also yes. And it also require a protein carrier, yes. So answer is D. Protein carrier is like a channel through which any substance can move. It could be like a channel like this, so the substance can move through a channel. Question 10, which row shows the element that made carbohydrate molecule? So carbohydrate and fat, they have carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. In only protein they have nitrogen, so carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So answer is C, because we have no nitrogen in the carbohydrates. Question 11. Large molecules are made of small molecules. Which row names the large molecule and the small molecule is made from? So our answer is A. Large molecule is cellulose. Cellulose is a part of is made cell wall is made by cellulose, and cellulose is made by glucose. If you see the B, fat is not made by the glycogen, because glycogen is a store form of glucose. If you see the C, so glycogen is the large molecule, but it is not made by fatty acid, it is made by the glucose. So this is also wrong. Option D is starch. So starch is also made by the carbohydrate, sugar. It is not made by amino acid. Amino acid make protein. So D is also wrong. Question 12, they show the graph and they show the effect of temperature on the activity of the enzyme. So we have enzyme and their effect of temperature on their activity. So on the y-axis they give you the enzyme activity, and on the x-axis they give the temperature. So if you see, the activity increase as the temperature increase, and here we have the optimum activity, the optimum temperature where the activity is the greatest, and when the temperature increase more, the activity decrease, because the enzyme become denature. So they become denature when the temperature is very high. So here is the temperature 1 and temperature 2. So our answer is D. Why? The substance fits into the active site of the enzyme. So the activity of the enzyme increase by increasing the temperature, but at temperature 2, if you see here, the activity is almost 0, because the enzyme become denature. It's active site. Here is active site. It will be denature, and the shape is change, the change shape, and the substrate cannot fit into it, so it cannot make the enzyme substrate complex. Question number 13, in an investigation, the rate of photosynthesis is measured at different temperature, and in this investigation they carried out 3 different light intensity, and the result they show you here. The rate of photosynthesis is on this side, and they are different temperature, and we have different light intensity, low light intensity, medium light, and high light intensity. What is the limiting factor for the rate of photosynthesis at point X? So here is our point X. So as you can see, as the temperature increase, the rate of photosynthesis increase, but light intensity after a certain amount, the very high or very low light intensity cannot change the rate. So the limiting factor is the light intensity. So light intensity is our limiting factor, and temperature is not. So our answer is C, because you can see at 10, 20 and 30. At 20 and 30, the rate is high. At 20, at low intensity, you can see the rate here is same. At 30, even the light intensity is low, the rate is still same. If you see the low medium light intensity, the rate at 20 here is high, but at 30 degree is still the same, the rate. So light intensity is our so light intensity is our limiting factor, but temperature is not, because at medium you can see the rate increase, at low the rate is here, and at high intensity the rate increase, but at temperature the rate do not affect by the temperature. So temperature is not the rate limiting factor. Limiting factor actually alter the rate low or high. In the plant, which ions are used to make amino acids? So nitrogen is used to make the amino acids. So nitrogen is present in nitrates. So answer is B. The next question 15, they ask you that which structure is cuticle? So cuticle is the more upper part layer of the leaf. It is a thick waxy layer that actually help to stop the water from evaporation and help the plant to store more water. So it's A. So B is our palisade mesophyll, and C is the vacuole, D is the lower epidermis layer. Question number 16. Poor nutrition can lead to condition rickets. Is a bone disease. The bone can fail to develop properly. The table shows you some minerals and vitamins in 4 foods. Which food will be best for a child has ricket? If a child has ricket, he need calcium, vitamin D, because these two ions vitamins actually help to grow the bone more stronger. So calcium is required, vitamin C is important. Vitamin C is not important in the case of ricket, because vitamin C help in scurvy, is a disease caused by vitamin C deficiency that can cause the gum bleeding, that is scurvy. And iron, we know that iron is important in making hemoglobin that can cause anemia. So our answer is B, calcium and vitamin D. Which food group in chemically digested chemically is important here? Mouth. So we know that the enzyme we are talking here is amylase enzyme, and then it passes to the stomach and continues to be broken down in chemical digestion in small intestine. You can see here in the stomach it has no digestion, but it has digestion in the small intestine. So it is the carbohydrate, because the protein get digested in the stomach. So our answer should be A, because amylase is present in mouth and duodenum, so it do the chemical digestion. Question number 18, which row is about bile is correct? So bile, we know that it is produced by in the liver, and it is stored in the gallbladder, and it actually do the emulsification of the fat, and it help in the digestion. So it is produced by liver. So yeah, it is produced by the liver. It increase the surface area, because it do the emulsification, and then it can help in the physical digestion of the fat. Okay, the answer is D. Question number 19, the small intestine is the part where more digestion food are absorbed, and there are many villi. And what are the features of some of the villi, they tell us here. So they ask you the question, which statement about villi are important for the efficient absorption of glucose? So if we see one, each villus contain a network of capillary. So if you see a villi, so it has so many capillaries like this around. So the first one is right. Each villi contain a lacteal. So each villi do not have a lacteal. So 2 is not right. Not each villi. So The surface of each epithelium cell covered with microvilli. So that is also right, because on each villi there are small microvilli. So 3 is right. Villi increase the internal surface area of small intestine. So yes, it increased. So 1, 3, and 4, they are right. Question 20. Which statement about the xylem vessel are correct? So we know that the xylem vessel, they carry the water and mineral ions, and they are narrow, they are strong, and they are thick, and they are very strong because of the lignin. So if you see one xylem vessel have cells that have cross walls, so no, that's not. They are end to end join, so they can make tubes that can transport water. 2. Xylem vessel have thick vessel wall with lignin. So yes, lignin make the xylem vessel more strong. Xylem vessel transport water and mineral ions. So yes, so answer is C, 2 and 3. Question 21. Dodder is plant that grow on the other plant and called host. The other plant are called host. The dodder plant can connect to the host vascular bundle, and then it can absorb the material things that it need, like sucrose, water. So the dodder plant does not have green leaves or roots, which correctly describe the region for translocation. The translocation means transport of sucrose. So translocation, we know that translocation, if you see a plant, so the leaf do the photosynthesis, so the photosynthesis produce the glucose, and then it can travel to the roots. So it in this case, so the leaves are the source, because the glucose is produced in the leaf, and dodder is a sink. So sink is where the sucrose is being transported. So dodder actually get that glucose from the plant. So dodder is the sink. It is not the source. Source is where this leaf is the source, and dodder is the sink. The next question, they show you the human circulatory system, and they ask you which structure is hepatic vein. So hepatic mean liver. So D is our answer, because it is a vein. So here if you see is the hepatic artery, and D is hepatic vein. So D is right answer. If you see kidney, so kidney is called renal. In lungs it's called pulmonary. In heart it's called cardiac. So these cardiac vessels, or pulmonary artery, renal artery, these names you need to be memorized. Next question, what is the feature of passive immunity? Passive immunity is a short-term immunity. And if you see the A, they say antibodies are acquired from another individual. So that is right. This is actually a passive immunity, and there are examples of passive immunity like getting the injection of already prepared antibiotics, or a baby getting milk from mother. So in the mother milk there are already prepared antibodies. So that is passive immunity. B, it can be gained through infection. No, in case of infection we have lymphocytes, so they produce antibodies, so that give a long term. So it's not long term, so it's not, it's short term. Memory cell, no, memory cells are producing active immunity. They show you the graph, and there are changes in the rate of breathing of athlete. So what caused the response during period Y? So if you see the period Y, so what causes? So rate of breathing increases. So during this time from here to here, so the concentration of carbon dioxide in the blood increases. So that actually can be detected by the brain cells, and brain cells give the information to the lungs and increase the rate of breathing. So because in the running they require more oxygen, and in the process of breathing, if it is become faster, then oxygen will be more in the lungs, because during the running the muscle need more energy, is a lot of consumption of oxygen, so carbon dioxide is produced more. So the answer is C, an increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide in the blood. These are the processes that occur in plant: active transport, cell division, osmosis, and transpiration. Which process use energy for respiration? So active transport use energy. Cell, when they divide 1 to 2, so they also use energy. Osmosis is the movement of water that do not require energy. Transpiration is loss of water, and loss of water is called evaporation. It's also a type of diffusion. So this also do not need any energy. So 1 and 2 are right. What is the balance equation? So they ask you the balance equation for anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, we get alcohol and carbon dioxide. So if you see this one, that's aerobic respiration, not the anaerobic respiration. So B is right, but it's also balanced. So you have to keep in mind it should be balanced. 27. Which label organ has a major role in assimilation? Assimilation is the process of digestion where the food become part of your body, and amino acid convert by converting them to the protein. So assimilation, if you see the structure, B is the lungs, so it's not. C is the kidney help in excretion, so it's also wrong. D is the bladder, so bladder accumulate the urine, so it's wrong. And A is the liver, so liver make the proteins, so right answer is A. Question 28. A toxin that has the same shape as neurotransmitter prevent muscle contraction. So which statement explain why the toxin prevent muscle contraction? So you know that at the end of every neuron there are the receptors, and the neurotransmitter bind with this receptor. So if there is a toxin that has the same shape, so it can bind with the receptor and it will block the neurotransmitter. So the answer is A, the toxin block the binding of neurotransmitter to the receptor on the motor neuron. So this is our toxin and this is neurotransmitter. So you can see that toxin will block the receptor, and that will block the neurotransmitter to bind with the receptor on the motor neuron, and then there will be no prevent the muscle contraction. Question 29. The diagram show the structure of human eye. Which part reflect light entering into the eye? So if you see, A is optic nerve, so that is not the right answer. B is iris. Iris do not refract light from entering, so it's wrong. Pupil iris, we know they control the amount of light enter into the eye, so that is also wrong. But if you see D, the cornea actually help the refraction of light that enter from different direction, and then it put on the retina. Yeah. So it's actually the cornea. The answer is D. Question number 30. A patient is injected with adrenaline. Adrenaline is a hormone that is produced by adrenal gland. The adrenal gland are present on each kidney. These are the adrenal gland. So this is kidney. So we have two adrenal gland on two kidneys, and which graph shows the expected changes on pulse rate and glucose concentration. So if you see A, it says that if the blood concentration decrease but the pulse rate increase, that's not right, because adrenal gland is an emergency gland. It increase heart rate, it increase the blood glucose. It's a hormone of fight and flight that make you ready when you are running or have any kind of emergency situation. So it will increase. So B says that it both decrease, so also wrong. C is right because the both are increasing, pulse rate and blood glucose concentration. D is wrong because one decrease and the other increase. That's also wrong. Question 31. The diagram show you the shoot of and root of seedling respond to the gravity. So which row show where the auxin? Auxin is the hormone that is present in the plant, and hormone the auxin accumulates an effect of this on the shoot. So what is the effect of auxin on the shoot? And they ask you this respond to the gravity. So in the gravity it will accumulate on the lower surface, and it increase the cell elongation. So it stimulate the cell elongation of the shoot. So answer is B, because auxin help in plant cell to grow. Question 32. Which factor would increase the chance of antibiotic resistant development? Antibiotic resistant development, they give you the first, regular giving antibiotics to healthy livestock. Yes, that can increase the antibiotic resistance, because regularly if you eat antibiotic, then your own immunity will decrease, and that can cause the more chances of antibiotic resistant development. So try to use less antibiotics and only when it is required. So the first is yes, because it increase the chances of resistance. The two, only using antibiotic to treat bacterial infection. This will not cause, because it is the time when we need the antibiotics. Because of when someone get the infection, that's the time when they take the antibiotics. So that's the right time. 3 is using several different antibiotics. So you are using too many different antibiotics to treat infection. It means you are eating too much antibiotics and two different types of antibiotics, so that can also cause the resistant. Using good personal hygiene to avoid infection, that's wrong, because that can help to increase your immunity. It will not affect on the antibiotic resistant development. So 1 and 3 is right. 2 and 4 are the good use of antibiotics. What is the advantage of using asexual reproduction in crop plant? In asexual, we know that only one parent is involved. In asexual, we can produce the desirable characteristics. What kind of crop you want to grow, so you can produce. So answer is A. In asexual, there is no genetic variation too much. It only requires wind pollination. That's also wrong, because asexual have only one parent, so you don't need wind for pollination, it reduces the chances of new disease. No, it will increase the chances of new disease. Question 34, they show you the graph and the concentration of blood of 4 hormones in the menstrual cycle. Which line represents FSH? Follicle stimulating hormone. We know that follicle stimulating hormone come from the brain by pituitary. Pituitary gland is a very small gland in the brain that can produce FSH and LH hormone that are important hormone in the menstruation, and FSH come first and it increase it actually help in development of the egg in the ovary. So if you see the diagram, A is our LH luteinizing hormone, and it help in ovulation. In ovulation, it actually when the egg is prepared, it helps the egg to come out from the ovary. So A is not right. B is wrong, right, because if you see from here, it's the first hormone to increase, and it's increase here, the concentration increase, then go down, and then also increase. Yeah, so here it shows this is the follicle stimulating hormone. It is the first who actually come and make the egg prepared for menstrual cycle. If you see the C is too high at the day of 14, so that is not the follicle stimulating hormone. And D is high after 14 days, and it increase until 21, and the same goes to 25, and then it keep decreasing. So it means that D is also not the follicle stimulating hormone. This could be the progesterone. So answer is B, is a follicle stimulating hormone. You have to keep these days in your mind when you're solving these questions. That can help you to see which hormone is increasing and decreasing. Question 35, mitotic index of the tissue is the percentage of cell in the tissue that are dividing by mitosis. So the table shows information about 2 tissue samples X and Y. Which statement is correct? So if you see X is a tissue sample, and number of cells dividing by mitosis is 25, and number of cells not dividing by mitosis is 55, and total number of cells in the tissue sample is 80, and tissue sample is number of cell that divide by mitosis 15, and number of cell not divided by mitosis 95, and total number of cell in tissue sample is 118. So here you see the number increase, the cells that do not divide by mitosis. If you do a little bit of mathematics, you can see it's almost 31.3. So our X is growing fast with a mitotic division index. And the next question, fruit fly can either have red eyes or white eyes, and this is a sex-linked characteristic is with the gene of the eye color located on X chromosome, and allele for red eye is R, that is dominant over the allele of small r, and the fruit fly with the X capital R and small r, they are crossed with a fruit fly that is X capital R and Y. So which percentage of the offspring will have the red eye? So they are asking about the red eye. So if you draw a Punnett square and write both of the fruit flies with the red eye and the white eye, you will see the result that show you is almost 75% with the red eye, because you can see here also we have capital X and R and capital X and R, and we have only one high and one small r. So the chances that we have red r is more high. So it's almost 75% will be XR. So XR, 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 and Y. XR and X capital R, X small r, and Y. So you can see it's a ratio of 3:1. So it's almost 75%. Which statement about variation is correct? So we have two types of variation: continuous and discontinuous. Continuous have too many types, so like it has so many variations. Discontinuous has only few different types, like ABO blood group. So our answer is D, because A is wrong. ABO is a discontinuous because we have only A, B, and O. So there are only 4. So it's discontinuous. Body mass is a continuous variation because different people have different masses. Seed color in the P. So color is a discontinuous variation. And D, the seed shape, also shows a continuous variation. So yes, seed could be round, smooth, or it could be a little bit like not smooth. So it's not a continuous variation. Question 38, which row shows the part of nitrogen cycle? So nitrogen cycle, the process and the chemical change and the chemical that they produce. So if you see decomposition, the chemical change is ammonium ion, so that's wrong, and it do not produce protein. Denitrification is wrong because denitrification remove the nitrogen and it do not produce nitrate ions, and ammonium gas is wrong. Nitrogen fixation, it produce nitrate ions and nitrogen gas, that's wrong. It's produce the nitrates, and denitrification, it produces ammonium ions, so that is right. And the nitrate ions, that's the product we get after nitrification. So when in vitro fertilization is used in capitative breeding programs, these processes occur: the egg is fertilized, the egg is removed, the embryo is implanted, and the sperm are added. So they ask you to which order these processes occur. So which order? So if you see the first, the egg is removed from the ovary. So we remove the egg, and then we also find a sperm, and a sperm is then added, and then they both are fertilized, and after fertilization, the embryo that is produced is put into the uterus. So answer is B. Question number 40, bacterial cell, and which structure is useful in genetic modification? So we know that in bacteria, the only structure that is useful is plasmid. So D is plasmid, that do the genetic variation and help in many industrial processes.